Hello everyone and welcome to our Best of the Rest series, Aether Revolt edition, where we talk about the rest of the cards in Aether Revolt that weren't spoiled individually. As per usual, we'll begin with white today as we move through Wooburg order as we get closer to pre-release. I know, it's real exciting stuff. In these videos, we're going to try and get a sense of how strong these colors are going to be, mostly unlimited. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see what white has to offer. If you enjoy this video and videos like these, be sure to hit that like button, helps out a lot. Audacious Infiltrator is 2 mana for a 3/1 Dwarf Rogue, and it can't be blocked by artifact creatures. What a way to start off white with a super aggressive creature. If you're playing a 2 mana 3/1, you're trying to do one of two things. First, you're trying to win the game real fast. Second, you're crewing big vehicles. I think this is going to be a fine filler card in a low-to-the-ground white-red or white-green limited deck, and will definitely have value in any type of vehicle-based limited strategy. The best part about this card, though, is the flavor. Artifact creatures don't want to block it because that gremlin will just eat them. That's funny. Alley Evasion is 1 white mana for an instant. Choose one. Target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn, or return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Another strict upgrade to Holy Strength, this one comes with a Decoction module ability, which isn't so bad considering Revolt is most certainly a thing in this upcoming limited format. I don't think anyone is going to early pick this card, but if you end up in a Revolt deck or need a 23rd playable card, the Evasion might be okay. Having 2 modes certainly helps, you can't argue with versatility. Airdrop Aeronauts is 3 of anything and 2 white for a 4/3 Dwarf Scout with flying in Revolt. When it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, you gain 5 life. Now this is a good card. I don't think it's going to be the best in common in the set, but a 4/3 flyer for 5 in limited is quite strong, and gaining 5 life is nothing to scoff at. I wouldn't go out of my way to use this just for the life gain, but it's a nice little reward for you if you lose something in combat, or you cast Alley Evasion to save one of your creatures from dying. If you can get Revolt online, that's a nice little bonus, but even if you can't, it's a fine inclusion as a top end in most any white limited deck. Good stuff. Aerial Modification is 5 mana for an enchant creature or vehicle. As long as enchanted permanent is a vehicle, it's a creature in addition to its other types. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. My goodness, this card is an absolute bomb as long as you have a few vehicles in your deck. Not only does this make them creatures straight up, it also gives them a decent power toughness boost and flying. It is 5 mana, which granted is a lot, but you're getting so much for your mana. In the right deck with a decent number of vehicles, this is going to be terrifying to play against. Without vehicles, much less upside as far as I'm concerned. Caught in the Brights is 3 mana for an enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature can attack or block. When a vehicle you control attacks, exile enchanted creature. This is so sad. That poor gremlin is going to get exiled. Is no one else sad for this gremlin? The inhumanity. I mean, besides needing to call PETA, I feel the need to tell you that this card is awesome. At worst, it's a 3 mana pacifism, and at best, it's a brutal removal spell if you have vehicles. This will be a top tier common in the set for limited play, despite its ruthless flavor. Conviction is 2 mana for an enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3. You can also pay 1 white and return Conviction to its owner's hand. I like the idea of being able to return Conviction cheaply to use it on better targets, but it still doesn't impress me all that much. We've seen the power level the set is working with, and I'm not sure Conviction really holds up. Don't get me wrong, +1/+3 isn't nothing, but it just isn't as impactful in the way that a lot of these other spells are. It's just my thought. Certainly on the short list for best art in the set, Dawnfeather Eagle is 5 mana for a 3/3 bird with flying. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. This is a big bird. 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer is always a stat line I'm going to pay attention to, especially when it comes with a sweet anthem effect. Giving everything a boost and vigilance for a turn and you get a 3/3 in the air, there's a lot of value from this common. Turning your servos and thopters into 2/2s, you can't ignore that. I don't expect this will be a first pick, but I do think it's better than first glance. There's a lot of value and immediate board impact here, you always like to see that. Deadeye Harpooner is 3 mana for a 2/2 Dwarf Warrior with Revolt. When it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, destroy target tap creature an opponent controls. The Harpooner is a reason to make Revolt work. Destroying a tapped creature is removal, and we love removal, especially hard removal in white. If you're going to play the Harpooner, it really helps to have ways to trigger Revolt beyond just dying in combat. Not the most reliable trigger. The more Revolt enablers you have, the closer this card gets to being guaranteed removal. And in Limited, you want as much of that kind of card advantage as you can get. Really puts you ahead on tempo. Harpooner is a good card. Deft Dismissal is 4 mana for an instant. It deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target attacking or blocking creatures. Looking at Baby Royal's Retribution, it isn't so bad. The Retribution was a high priority pick in BFZ Limited, and I think the Dismissal is going to do a fine job. 3 damage is absolutely less than 5, but the decreased cost and only 1 white mana requirement, it's going to be a lot easier for players to deal with. It's difficult to say no to damage-based removal, again, in white. The color doesn't exactly get a plethora of that. I expect this to be an above-average limited pick. Removal cannot be ignored, even removal like this. Felidar Guardian is 4 mana for a 1/4 cat beast. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Everyone, say hello to the reason why Standard is going to be outrageously ridiculous for the next, I don't know, year and a half. You know who loves cat beasts? Apparently Saheeli Rai does. Play Saheeli on turn 3, play the stupid cat on turn 4, use Saheeli's -2, create a token of the Guardian which has haste, that triggers, you exile Saheeli with the cat trigger, she comes back at her original loyalty, you make another copy of the cat, exile Saheeli, and you can do this forever, and all those stupid cats have haste. This is the world we live in. Splinter Twin has come back to Standard, except it's slightly more dirtily, and I have no idea what's going to stop it consistently. Thank you, random uncommon that wasn't even spoiled individually. Thank you. Who wants to play Splinter Twin again? Because, I mean, that's what I'll be doing, I guess. Ugh. Guy Ripper Osprey is 3 mana for a 2/2 bird with flying. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't infinitely combo with Saheeli, so I don't know. I guess it's fine filler for limited. Everything is so sad to me now. It's like nothing matters anymore. You ruined me, Felidar Guardian. You ruined me. Restoration Specialist is 2 mana for a 2/1 Dwarf Artificer. You can pay 1 white and sacrifice it to return up to 1 target artifact card and up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. This is great. Comes with a ton of value. 2 mana for a 2/1 is already a decent stat line to work with, so I'm not worried there. The real value, though, that recursion ability. You can get any combination of 1 artifact and 1 enchantment, and it's absurd if you have both. We've already seen a decent amount of white enchantments, and some of them work really well with vehicles, so if you end up a white-red vehicles deck, there's a good chance you'll get some serious value out of this card. Even if you aren't running a lot of enchantments or artifacts, it's still worth playing on the off chance it does bring something back. Strong uncommon, really excited for this one. Thopter Arrest is 3 mana for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until the arrest leaves the battlefield. Not as powerful as Oblivion Ring, but more than adequate to deal with creatures and vehicles alike. This is going to be one of the top tier best white uncommons in the set, hands down. This kind of no frills removal is always sought after, and you should put a high priority on playing it if you get the opportunity. Looks like that's going to do it for the rest of the white cards in Aether Revolt. What do you think? Personally, I think the color has a decent amount of strength at the common level, and especially at the uncommon level. We're going to talk about this more in our draft guide in a week, but I think we're looking at some solid playables here, really pushing the synergy with vehicles, which is important to point out. So again, what do you think of white in the set, especially for limited? I'm really interested to hear what you have to say as we approach the pre-release. Leave all your thoughts in the comments and we'll talk about it. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the channel for the rest of this series coming at you throughout this weekend and all of next week. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video was brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. That stupid Felidar Guardian has ruined everything, and if you don't have Saheeli Rai, I wouldn't suggest buying her now. What I would suggest? Buying Aether Revolt booster boxes pre-ordered right now for $93. You have to admit the set is looking hyped as ever. If you haven't pre-ordered yet, what are you waiting for? Get in on this. Helps the channel. You get a great price on boxes. We all win. Enjoy.